Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Konstantin Adonio, and I'm here with you today to talk about AI literacy and what it means for K-12. To an extent, this is for universities as well, if you think in parallel. So today I want to challenge, in a way, our assumptions about AI literacy. When we hear AI literacy, most of us picture about lessons with robots and new software, and we're expected to learn overnight. That image alone is enough to make teachers tired before even they start. So I want to be very clear from the beginning that this session is not about turning teachers, turning teachers into engineers or students into programmers. It's about helping schools respond intelligently to a reality that is already here. AI is already shaping how students write, research, create, revise, and even think. Whether we allow it or not, students are using AI tools every day, often quietly, often without guidance. That puts teachers in a difficult position as they are expected to manage something that was never part of their training. Today's goal is practical clarity. What does AI literacy actually mean in classrooms? What does it not mean? And how can teachers across subjects, not just technology teachers, address it without adding more workload or fear? This is about restoring professional confidence. You already teach the core skills. AI literacy requires reasoning, judgment, ethics, and reflection. We're not starting from zero. We're just naming what you already do and making it visible, intentional, and shared. Schools have been told that they must teach AI, but very few are given any guidance about what that actually looks like in practice. There's no shared roadmap, no common definition, and no agreement about responsibility. So what happens? Schools inevitably improvise. Some buy software, some introduce coding units, some ban AI outright. Others quietly ignore it and hope it goes away. Meanwhile, students are already using AI tools daily to summarize readings, rewrite drafts, generate images, check answers, brainstorm ideas, use humanizers. They don't wait for your permission. This creates a strange gap. Students experimenting freely, while adults are expected to supervise something they're still trying to understand. That gap understandably creates anxiety, especially for teachers who care deeply about learning, fairness, and integrity. The key point here is this: the urgency is not that students are using AI. The urgency is that many students don't understand what the AI is doing, why it produces certain answers, and when it should and should not be trusted. AI literacy is not about catching students out. It's about giving them language, judgment, and responsibility. And that's with clarity, not panic. You can see here the tension between policy demands and school readiness in AI education. The arrows labeled policy pressure teach AI push downward onto fragmented school structures, symbolizing top down mandates without clear implementation frameworks. Inside the school block, disconnected components such as coding, robotics, and random tools suggest scattered adoption rather than a coherent system thinking. Surrounding features represent stakeholders, students already ahead of institutions, and educators overthinking about technology, highlighting misalignment between learner readiness, institutional strategy, and pedagogical understanding. Overall, the image critiques reactive implementation and argues for systemic planning, coordinated curricula, and conceptual clarity before introducing technical tools. So what AI literacy is not? This slide is deliberately blunt. AI literacy is not about Python, it's not about robotics, it's not about new specialist subject for tech-savvy students only. Those things can be valuable, but they're not the foundation. A student can learn to code without understanding bias. A student can build a robot without understanding surveillance. A student can use AI fluently and still believe everything it produces. But that's not literacy, that's just using tools. Literacy means understanding, evaluating, and using something with intention. We don't say someone is literate because they hold a book. We say it is literate, he is literate or she is literate because they can read the book, interpret, question, and respond to what they need, to what they read. When schools equate AI literacy with tools, three problems appear. First, it excludes many students who don't see themselves as technical. Second, it intimidates teachers who feel underqualified. And also, third, it misses the actual risks and opportunities that students face right now. AI literacy is not about mastering the tool, it's about understanding the system behind the tools and your role in relation to it, your role as a teacher. That's a much more familiar educational task than it first sounds. So you can see here the contrast between the two levels of AI literacy, surface skills and system understanding. And the top row shows coding, robotics, software tools as visible, practical competencies that learners can directly practice. But below is a deeper layer presenting data, patterns, and power as foundational system concepts. This structure suggests that focusing only on tools produces shallow competence, while understanding underlying mechanisms enables meaningful mastery. The graphic here emphasizes that true AI literacy requires grasping how data feeds models, how patterns drive predictions, and how computational power shapes outcomes. It reframes AI education from being just technical training towards conceptual fluency in systems thinking and infrastructure awareness. So what is AI literacy? AI literacy is the capacity to understand, question, and collaborate with AI systems responsibly and in context. And those three verbs matter. Understanding means knowing that AI does not know, it predicts. It works from patterns in data, not truth or intention. Questioning means recognizing bias, gaps, errors, and overconfidence in AI outputs. Collaboration means deciding when AI helps learning and when it gets in the way. Notice that what's missing from this definition are software names, programming languages, devices, and that is intentional. AI literacy travels across subjects and age groups because it's closer to media literacy, civic literacy, scientific reasoning than computer science. For teachers, this feels reassuring. You already teach students how to evaluate sources, explain reasoning, justify choices, and reflect on decisions. AI literacy simply extends these habits into a new context. For students, it's overpowering. Instead of being told, don't use AI, they learn how to use it thoughtfully, visibly, and accountably. And that shift changes AI from being a threat into a learning partner with certain boundaries. The framework here presents AI literacy as a balance of three cognitive capacities: understanding, questioning, and collaborating. Understanding sits at the apex, emphasizing the conceptual grasp of how AI systems function. Questioning highlights critical evaluation of outputs, biases, and assumptions. Collaboration underscores productive partnership between humans and AI tools. At the center is the integrative zone, which represents the synthesis of all these skills, where learners move beyond passive use towards active interpretation, and co-creation. What is suggested here is that AI competence is not linear, but relational, emerging from the interaction of these three dimensions, and that education should cultivate all three simultaneously rather than privileging technical knowledge alone. To make AI literacy usable, we need a structure teachers can remember and apply. And that's where the four domains come in. They're not abstract theory, they're actually teaching lenses. Critical AI reasoning focuses on how AI outputs are formed and evaluated. Digital ethics and data agency addresses consent, privacy, bias, and power. A human AI collaboration focuses on judgment and task design. AI across subjects ensures that this doesn't live in one isolated course. Together, these domains cover what students actually encounter: writing tools, recommendation systems, image generators, grading platforms, search engines, AI, text, humanizers. They also align with what teachers already do well, which is ask questions, compare perspectives, design tasks, and guide reflection. The strength of this framework is that no single teacher carries the burden alone. Each subject contributes a piece. Over time, students build a coherent literacy without needing a separate AI class. So this is about integration, not addition. Nothing here requires new labs, new roles, or new degrees. It just requires shared language and small deliberate choices. AI literacy is here positioned at the center of these four interconnected domains: critical AI reasoning, digital ethics and data agency, human AI collaboration, and